Good morning, traders. This is Wilkey with StartupTrading.com. It is 8:45 a.m. Eastern Time on Monday, June 8, 2020. So just looking back at Friday's session, right, we had non-farm payroll, a massive beat versus expectations. So as that beat come in, we climbed up. And what I really want to go back and point out is, looking back at these level fours, and I talk about this, only, 1 out of 7 days you really get any traction above or below the level fours. So as we smoked up in the morning, right, you had the Russell open up above S4 or R4B. And as you do, right, we made some traction. This dotted blue line is a European close. So the first 2 hours kind of up sideways, starting at around 245, couldn't go anywhere, and went right back into that, not going anywhere. Look at the ES, very similar picture, right? Couldn't get any traction, closed below 4A. The Dow got up here, and it did close above, right, but just marginally so, right? So as you see, just a few points basically as far as the ranges that we've had above here. So nothing going on, and you can see again that the European close was, the lid on the ceiling basically after that. Looking at the NASDAQ, you can see as far as what the other markets did, although it printed an all-time high on Friday, it was definitely the laggard as far as movement. So looking at this week, we have ECB President Lagarde speaks at 9:45 a.m. today. That's probably not really going to do anything for us. Tomorrow morning, we have JOLTS, job over labor turnover survey. So that is going to be at 10 o'clock. That's a blue star event. So blue star events for me are usually they're usually a non-event, but they have the potential to be explosive, right? A red star means that has a history of volatility. So anything with jobs, I'm going to start, trying to flag so we at least are aware of when the scheduled news is supposed to come out for jobs. So this JOLTS at 10 o'clock on Tuesday is supposed to be normally nothing going on, but we'll want to pay attention to that it's there, and maybe, if we're not in a position, kind of wait until after that, or, manage your risk, just watch a little bit closer around that area. And then Wednesday we have CPI, and the big news this week, right? Although since the Fed already said they won't do negative rates, and we know that they're not going to hike. I think there's a 7, 8, 9% chance that they might hike on this meeting, which is not enough, right? So they're going to come out with a statement, and then at 2:30 they're going to have a press conference on Wednesday. So the market, just like for non-farm payroll, will be in a minor holding pattern, probably going into this. Not to say that we can't go up and down 150 points back and forth, but will we cross over 3,400 before this statement comes out? More than likely not. So as we look at this and see, but this is just an event that is going to be ripe for volatility. Then Thursday we have PPI and unemployment claims, and then Thursday I did note this. It's actually at 101, but if you're a day trader and you need to know the difference between 1 o'clock or 1:01 p.m., you're probably not doing something right. So at 1 o'clock we're going to have a 30-year bond auction. Just see. That should go off normally. It should be a blue star event as well. And then Friday we're going to have preliminary University of Michigan consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. So as we look at the still where we're at on the trade, the analysis. So Friday, bell-to-bell trading, Armenians 38, we had 42. Session's been around 52, we had 104. So we had double the normal session, and it was to the upside. Overnight's been at 40 basically. We had 72.5 on Friday, and the first hour's been at 17, and we had 1675. So that was in line. So keep that in mind. Range did expand slightly to the upside on Friday, and then starting to chase the Russell again over the 5-day, 10-day, 15-day, 20-day, and at the 60-day. Now, if you look at it, the Russell is above the ES and the Dow and closing in on the NASDAQ. Year to date, right, the Russell is still the massive laggard. So looking at the overnight session so far tonight, 28 and a quarter points. And just a reminder, I'm showing Thursday's on level. There's nothing saying that we can't retrace Thursday's high this week. So that's down at 31.25 basically. It's 31.26.75 or right in that ballpark. But keep in mind that anywhere from there, and then this is an overnight high, so it's going to be a little bit less compelling. But those are basically down around, I don't think we're trading them today, but those would be S2 and S3. So they are still in play technically for the day, although I think we're going to have a hard time getting below Friday's bell-to-bell low, which is right there around 31.69. So as we get, but if you do see that, that's probably where you're going, is between S2 and S3. So to the upside today, right around 32.50 would be the top, 32.30, and then we'll see if we get any real traction. But the bears are still have the hurt and put on them. And if we look at all the indexes, right around the previous day's high, the Russell again outperformed above the previous day's high. The NASDAQ has traded over the previous day's high in the overnight session, right? It went up to basically 98.75 half, and Friday's high was 98.46 quarter. But it's still in value right now, right? Value area high for the NASDAQ is 98.2675. So we'll see what happens with this. Looking at sequences for the overnight session, the bears, as has been for since March 23rd, really have nothing going. The bulls, holding it halfway back long. That targets in the overnight right up around to 32.12. So keep that in mind as the first target. Second target for holding that overnight draw would be right around 32.20. Looking at the NASDAQ, and it is the weaker of the bunch, right? The bears have a little bit more going. It's the bulls that don't have much going so far. But the NASDAQ has done better bell to bell than it has during the overnight for the past week or two, right? So the Europeans are selling the NASDAQ, and the Americans are buying it back up, basically. So looking at the Russell, again, much stronger sequence coming up. Looking at the ES, again, I had a longer-term resistance right around 32.19 quarter, so it's going to line up with that, 32.20-ish on the day. And above there, I have to put some other markers on there, but really nothing that I'm watching at this point in time. Looking at the NASDAQ, again, all you can really put on here is right around Thursday's bell high. So that's going to come in right around 97.40. That wouldn't be too much of a drop, right? You're looking at about, 70, 75 points, 65 points right in there to drop. I don't think that's in play for today. And we'll see really if, the gap up from Friday. So Friday's bell low is going to be more what to watch. And you can see it flirted with, some of those areas of the chart today. Looking at the Russell, again, Thursday's high is down here at 1464. That overnight swing is at 1487. And then we're just, scooting to the upside. So you're going to have to rely on other technical analysis because I really have nothing, again, for the Russell. And we're just flirting back and forth in this zone. But nothing until 1582.30. And then, so looking at all the indexes and really, what's going on, remember the pattern for the NASDAQ, although it's been weaker, the Americans have been buying it back up. So once the American bell rings, they have, been a little bit more bullish for the NASDAQ, and they've been actually countering what they've been doing with the Russell. So I'm still looking for slight bias up. So probably between 3,200 and the point of control down here to right around R2 for the ES today would be the most likely range to trade. And for the Dow, it could be a little bit above R2, but you're probably looking, the same thing. I don't even know if we're going to get to value area, but remember, for all the three indexes, everything except for the NASDAQ, this European close, which is the blue dash line, was the resistance on Friday afternoon. So see if that becomes support today. So for the Russell, that would be 1525.80. For the ES, that would be 3203.75. And for the Dow, that would be 27,258. Give or take a few ticks or points right around there. See if that ends up being support. I hope this helps. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.